Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending June 29th, 2022. If you're on the market as a seller or thinking of selling, let me tell you what the playing field looks like. This is from personal experience working with sellers and working with buyers. Let me tell you what's out there right now. There are two types of sellers. There's the seller that has already bought. They've purchased previously, now they have to sell. They absolutely have to sell because they need that money to close on their purchase. And that's different from the other seller that's out there that is starting the whole process by selling. They've not bought yet, so they're going to sell, see how much they get, and that's going to determine what they buy. So have to sell, would like to sell at a decent price, has to sell no matter what. It's very, very different attitudes these sellers are having. I've said before, when you're on the market, when you're selling your home, you are either going to help other people sell their properties or they're going to help you sell yours. Here's the problem with these two types of sellers. That seller, that seller that absolutely has to sell, they're going to undercut you. That price is going to, if they don't get the sale they want soon or quick, they're going to be dropping their price. And you're going to wonder, that's nuts. That's a crazy price that this guy has it at. And this other house where the seller has to sell might even be a better house than yours. But they're going to undercut you and they're going to get their price and they're going to be sold. And you're going to be stuck up here thinking, well, that's a crazy price. And for you to sell, that other home now, that's a better home, has set a new precedent in the neighborhood, and you're going to have a tough time and you're going to be sitting on the market. Selling a home, if you're a listing agent these days, is not what it used to be. It's not just putting up an MLS listing anymore and everything sells. Realtors used to walk around at the beginning of the year like they were the greatest thing since sliced bread when it came to real estate because everything sold. It's not the case anymore, and you're not even dealing with the same type of sellers in the market. Those two types of sellers really have different attitudes towards selling. One has to sell, one would like to sell. You assume they'd like to sell, they're on the market, right? But they're not keen on bringing their prices in line, and here's where you have a problem. So if you are not keen on being in line with where the market is going to put you in line. It's just the way it is. And this is what buyers are looking at. They're looking at what sold, what makes sense. Prices are coming down. Nobody's living under a rock. Everybody knows prices are coming down. So whatever the previous one sold for, buyers are offering less. That's the market. It's so important your listing agent is on the ball, has the price right the first time, and is very quick in making decisions or guiding you through the decision process as to what has to happen quickly in order for you to get the sale that you want. If you think this information is going to help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time. This way I'll know ahead of time. I'll make sure I'm organized to be able to give you the time to speak about whatever's on your mind. If you're looking for an awesome condo in the heart of the Kingsway in a one-year-old building, check out the video at the end of this video. If you're on the market now, it's going to feel like a buyer's market. Whether you're selling or buying, it's going to feel like a buyer's market. But technically, it's not. We're approaching a balanced market. And when I get into the numbers and talk about months of inventory, you'll understand more about that. However, it's, I guess, kind of like what the weather report is. It's 20 degrees today, but with humidity, it's going to feel like 27. Well, is it 27 or is it 20? Well, it's going to feel like 27, but it's actually 20. Well, it's feeling very much like a buyer's market, but technically, we're approaching a balanced market. Let's get into the numbers. I have here for the City of Toronto, broken down for a whole year by week. This is for detached properties only. I'm stressing that because some people in comments have talked about how semis and towns will skew these numbers. Not these numbers. This is just for detached properties and only for the City of Toronto. So there's no suburbs here at all. So City of Toronto detached, broken down by week. Sales, if you know, we go back to March where we peaked at 300 sales in a week. It's been going downhill since then. Last week, June 29th, we sold 129 detached properties across the City of Toronto. 32 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price has also been coming down. We were way up at $2,100,000. We are now at $1,660,000 for the average sold price for detached properties across the City of Toronto. How's that compared to last year? Well, if we just go back to this year, 2022, $1,660,000 is the second lowest average sold price we've had all year so far. The lowest being just a little bit under that at $1,636,000. But compared to last year, a year ago, average sold price is the same. 0% increase over last year's average sold price. Looking at median price is only 1.5% higher than last year's median price. Going back 3 months, just looking at median price, if you look at $1,628,000 where we were 3 months ago with median price, now at $1,350,000, there's almost a $300,000 price drop in 3 months. Big difference, big change. It's a whole different world than it was just a little while ago. Let's look at sales. Of the 125 that sold, 46% sold at list price or more. We used to be in the 80s and 90s selling, or percentile selling at list price or more. It's now 46%, less than half. Year-to-date sales, we have 27% fewer sales this year than what we were selling last year, year-to-date. The blue, that's last year's sales figures. The orange is this year's sales figures. And you can see that we're way behind. If we just zero in on the last couple of months here, we're way behind last year's sales in the tune of 27%. Let's look at listings. If we look at listings just in the last couple of months, it's pretty much on par to what we were listing last year. Now, year to date, we have 10% fewer listings this year than what we were listing last year. That's because earlier on in the year, we were listing far less. But just in the last couple of months, it's pretty similar. In fact, last week, we're off by 1, so it's pretty much the same. So a lot less sales. Listings pretty much the same in the last couple of months. Months of inventory has jumped way up. It's now sitting at 2.7 months of inventory, approaching a balanced market. Average days on market is now 15. We used to be 10, 11, 8, 9. Now it's sitting at 15 average days on market. And again, average sold price has been coming down. It's now sitting at $1,660,000. So that's all of Toronto. Let's break it down a little bit between Central, West, and East Toronto. Big price differences, different behaviors going on in different parts of Toronto. We're looking at West Toronto here first. We sold 34 sales, and that's way down from what we were selling last year. It's down quite a bit, close to half of what we sold last week in Toronto, in West Toronto. And because of that, with sales being so much lower, it's shot up months of inventory to 3.3 months of inventory. And it's just because of the way math works, right? We're looking at if only 34 are being sold or purchased, depending on how you're looking at that, Well, based on how many detached properties are available for sale in West Toronto, how quickly will we sell out of the inventory? Well, if we're only selling 34, well, we've got 3.3 months of inventory. Average days on market is now sitting at 17. Average sold price did go up from where it was the previous week to $1,646,000 West Toronto. Compared to last year, average sold price is 11% higher than what it was a year ago, and median price is 4% higher than what it was a year ago West Toronto. Let's look at Central Toronto. Only 36 detached properties were sold in Central Toronto. Average sold price is 8% lower than what it was a year ago. Median price is 7% higher than what it was a year ago. Average sold price is $2,259,000, and we're coming from say 2.8, 2.9 million to 2,259. Huge difference. Months of inventory is up higher than what it's been for a long time. It's now sitting at 3.8 months of inventory. It's climbing. Prices are coming down. Let's look at East Toronto. We sold 55 detached properties in East Toronto. Sold at list price or more, 58%. Average sold price is 2% lower than what it was a year ago. Median price is 1% lower than what it was a year ago. And months of inventory is also going up. It's now at 1.8. Average sold price is $1,276,000. Let's compare these three areas side by side. So if we're looking at average sold price and median price, the East has the lowest of those. It's the lowest average sold price, lowest median price. However, maybe because of that, the East also has the highest sales at 55 sales. It has the highest amount of properties being purchased at list price or more, which is 58%. It has the lowest average days on market at 12, and the other ones are 16 and 17, and it has by far the lowest months of inventory. West is 3.3 months of inventory, Central is 3.8, East is 1.8 months of inventory. So lowest average sold price, but highest or lowest months of inventory, depending on how you look at it. It's far more activity going on, and it's a bit more competitive in East Toronto than other parts of Toronto. And that's just splitting Toronto up into three sections. Within those sections, you have other many micro markets having their own behaviors. And this is why having a good realtor helping you navigate these micro markets is vital, especially in this type of market that we're in now. Let's look at semis. 56 semis were sold. 14 of those were at $1.5 million or more. I don't know why I said 1.4. So 14 were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price is sitting at $1,311,000. Yes, it came up from the previous week, but kind of just step back and you'll see that, hey, up or down doesn't really matter on a week-to-week basis. What's the trend? And the trend is by far, it's coming down. The peak was 1.6. We're now at 1,311,000, which is 2% higher than where the average sold price was a year ago. Median price is also 2% higher than where the median price was a year ago. Looking at townhouses, still on semis, months of inventory has actually been coming down the last few weeks, is now sitting at 1.4 months of inventory. And again, average sold price and median price are both 2% higher than where they were a year ago. Looking at townhouses, 19 townhouses were sold. That's not a lot, but the week before it was 10, which is definitely not a lot of townhouses. And these are freehold townhouses, not condo townhouses. So freehold townhouses, average sold price is just under 1.3 million. It's 1,297,000, and you could see how average sold price has been coming down. Well, 1,297,000 is 6% higher than where the average sold price was a year ago. Median price is 6% higher than what it was a year ago. the median price is actually higher than slightly higher than the average sold price. Sorry, average sold price is 6% higher. Median price is 11% higher than what it was a year ago. This is for townhouses. Months of inventory is sitting at 1.7. And you've got the big 3.4s and you've got the 1.6, 1.7. So on the weeks that we sold only 10, months of inventory shot way up. On the weeks that we sold 20, or last week we sold 19, months of inventory came down a little bit in line to, it's still going up, but more in line to more of a gradual increase. So those sales figures, especially when you're talking 20, 15, 10, it's so volatile, some of these numbers. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. However, months of inventory is going up no matter how you look at it, and average sold price is coming down no matter which lens you're looking through. There's only one way to see that. Let's look at condos. We kind of peaked where sometime here in the middle of February, we had the highest average sold prices. We had the highest sales on a weekly basis. We were at our peak of 464 condo sales in a week. These are just condo apartments. Well, sales have been coming down. They're now at 200. So last week we sold only 200 condos. 33 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price did come up a little bit. It's now sitting at $814,000 for the average condo. We were at $865 as the peak. So condo prices are coming down. It's not as dramatic of what's happening in the detached market. $814,000 is 16% higher than where the average prices were a year ago. Median price is 6% higher than where the median price was a year ago. And if we go back 3 months, we're going from $741,000 to $675,000. Yes, it's lower, not as dramatic of what's happening in the detached market space. Sales, though, are way down. 25% fewer sales this year, year to date, than last year. And 40% of those 200 sold at list price or more. Listings are only 2% fewer listings this year than what we were listing last year, year to date. And months of inventory, it's not a surprise, is climbing. We were at 0.8 just in 3 months. We're now at 3.5 months of inventory, with 20 being the average days on market. So here's a quick summary of all the months of inventory. Apart from semis and towns, you can see that we are very much approaching a balanced market. Like I said, it's going to feel like a buyer's market, but technically we're approaching a balanced market. Hope you found this information useful. Have an awesome day. Here's your chance to live in the heart of the Kingsway. Welcome to Kingsway by the River Condos. It's a newly built building. This is a 1-bedroom with a den, a large den. And this is a corner unit, and it comes with this massive wraparound balcony. Let me show it to you.